Hello everyone, and welcome back to another one of my monthly forecasts. This month we're going to be looking at the overall collective energies of July 2024, and we're going to be getting information for any potential themes and challenges that we will need to be navigating for the month of July. I'm excited to get into it. I do feel some very positive energies about the month of July. I do feel a lot of hope coming into many people's lives, actually. There's just like, hope is just the word that kept popping into my mind today for one of the overall themes for the month of July. So it's kind of like a fresh start. You know, hope is in the energy of spring. So it's in new beginnings. Potential new beginnings could be happening in different areas of life, but really just feels like a refreshment, like new energy, fresh start, that kind of thing. So we do have two animals showing up for the month of July. I picked one and then I had this intuitive feeling to pick another one. So we have two energies showing up, which is really beautiful actually. So in a sense, they do go along with this new beginning or this fresh start, the kind of the energy of spring. We have the deer spirit showing up, and it says to bring a gentle touch on the card. Then we also have the butterfly, and the butterfly is all about transformation. So of course, I talk a lot about butterflies on my channel here, and I do love that this is showing up, but I love also that it's showing up with the deer spirit, because it feels like the process of breaking out of the cocoon is going to be one that is, well, gentle, like the deer, right? So, deer medicine is really beautiful. You know, she represents the spirit of the mountain, and she acts as a gentle guide through the forest of life. There is a need to navigate the energies of this month with diplomacy and balance. So the deer can represent communication and relationship, but coming at it from a place of openness, groundedness, gentleness, and diplomacy. The deer spirit warns of being argumentative with others, and that now is not a good time for that. So the most important thing to navigate this month when it comes to relationships, especially communication with other people, is to focus on understanding and compassion if possible. So everybody is where they are for a reason, and if we can understand where others are coming from, then that can help us navigate situations much more gracefully. My feeling about this is that relationships seem to be a really big theme this month, and you know, also in this energy of spring, there's a lot of growth that happens, right? New growth especially, and so that new growth energy feels like it's happening in relationships in particular. And what's really going to help transform our relationships and make them so much better and so much more beautiful is how we navigate them. So the deer spirit is showing up as a reminder to have as much understanding and compassion as you possibly can. And, you know, getting triggered and getting angry, it's like the way that we deal with these things is actually really critical this month. It's critical to the outcome of relationships. So the butterfly, you know, it also represents joy. It's a symbol of joy, of taking flight and freedom. And so it feels like there is this freedom in that we can experience in our relationships with others. So if we've been feeling trapped, or if you're somebody who has a hard time actually committing to relationship, really no matter what kind of relationship that is, right? Committing to being a good friend, committing to being in a partnership, committing to showing up for people in general. Like if you have more of an avoidant tendency, then this month is going to be a key month for transforming some of those behaviors. And in doing that, it's all about going slow. So there's no running, right? We tend to run out of fear. The deer are one of those animals who get spooked very easily. So the key with the deer is to go slow, right? Because when they get spooked, they will run. And you never know which direction they're gonna run when they get spooked. You know, there can be such beautiful freedom in relationships or in commitment, really. Many people who think that the avoidance of commitment is freedom don't really understand true commitment, which really starts with the self first and foremost. When we're really committed to ourselves, that is the ultimate freedom. That's something that I have definitely learned and am still learning through my journey of life, I think, as we all are. We do also have angels showing up, which is awesome. So, you know, this energy feels like there's a lot of divine guidance happening this month. And I'm hearing that I need to remind you all about the power of prayer. You know, that spirit guides, angels, beings that are outside of this dimension, they cannot help you without your permission. So there is no being that can interfere with another being's free will. So that means that if you are needing help, if you're needing more support from spirit, then you need to remember to call on spirit. Even calling on your higher self, that is also something that needs to be done. Your higher self is your greatest guide. It's the one that knows you the best out of any other guide there is. Prayer is intention. It is the direction of our energy. Everything that we say, in a sense, is a prayer. You know, all of the movements that we make, the actions that we take, they're filled with energy, which means that they're filled with prayer. So we have the throat chakra coming out, as well as curses and spells. So, you know, as we talk about the power of prayer, it's really about our intentions. Every intention that we have and everything that we talk about, that we say, it has power. And our words can either be a blessing or a curse. So everything that we say to ourselves and everything that we say to another person creates an energy frequency that does influence our lives. So we're really just expanding on these energies of the deer and the butterfly. And so Spirit is reminding us that we need to, in communication with others this month, we need to be in a place of prayer, meaning we need to actually call in our higher selves, call in our spirits as we navigate the energies this month. It's like surrendering your will to divine will, essentially, which is the sacred truth of the throat chakra. So the way we communicate, incredibly important, just like the deer spirit is talking about. So diplomacy, right? The words that you say, they have power. So what do you want to put your power toward? What is it that you want to create? And what kind of connections do you want to have? I am also getting this feeling that prayer is also going to be very important this month, just to send out to the world. If any of you do say prayers, you do visualizations, or you hold intentions, I feel like this month is going to be a very important month to send that out to the collective consciousness. I feel like there are going to be some people who are really going to need to be held on an energetic level this month. There are many different layers going on here that I can see. I can see, you know, layers depending on where you're at in your own consciousness. There are going to be layers to what it is that we're experiencing, and I do feel like some people may be experiencing some turmoil. There may be some energies being a little bit more unsettled with the earth, maybe potential earthquakes, but it does just feel like a shifting of energies. And so I feel like extra prayers to the earth, extra prayers to the collective are going to be really important for this month. So please keep that in mind when you are visualizing, when you're going about your day. Just send some love out to the universe. Okay, wow, this is really a month for healing. This is a month of really big transformation, just like the butterfly is talking about here. So this is powerful because really what Spirit is asking us to do this month is to break these old patterns, to break these old curses and spells that we have been living under. This is a month for ancestral healing. So ancestral healing is going to be really important. You know that all of us have carried blessings and curses in our DNA from previous generations. Any trauma that has not been healed from previous generations does get passed on to the next generation, and so on and so forth. And it can continue to compound itself and eventually even develop in illnesses. It's like when children are born with terminal illness. Situations like that really have so much to do with the ancestral karma or the ancestral trauma that is unhealed in a family line. The energy of this month just feels like a shake-up, like shaking up all of that denseness, and maybe even physically, literally shaking it out of your body. So if you're dancing, or if you're moving, if you're jumping up and down and just like getting it out of the body, I feel like there's this call to break up that denseness, because we have all of these solar flares happening, right? We do have the summer solstice card coming out, by the way, which we did just have the summer solstice, as you all know. And that was a very, very powerful portal, and it really felt like cramming light into every shadowed place you could possibly cram it into. So, you know, light tends to break up that denseness, and so it's like the darker energies are denser, whereas the lighter energies are a bit higher. And our planet right now is currently going through a process of transition, and if we want to stay here, then we've got to also go through that process of transition. And that process is moving from lower frequencies, a more unconscious state of living, being stuck in quote unquote the matrix, and moving into more conscious ways of living and really tuning into and tapping into our free will. Lighter energies, freer energies. But in order to do that, we have to process lower frequencies through our physical bodies. Our DNA transforms to hold more light as we transmute trauma and old wounds. Now, we all chose into our ancestry, into our lineage for a reason. We chose into it for the potential blessings, the potential gifts that they carry, as well as the challenges. Knowing that those challenges were actually meant to activate and open up more gifts within us. So if this is a month where you're needing to set boundaries with people who you originated with, parents, tribe, family, then it's very important to navigate that from the spirit of the deer with that diplomacy and that understanding. And also understanding that everything that you are experiencing and have experienced, you did actually choose into. So it's looking at this from a higher perspective, but then bringing it down to earth, and you know, you can also acknowledge the lower density frequencies that we carry along the lines of victimhood, you know, and then really transforming that victim energy into an empowered state. That's really what's being asked of everybody this month. The trauma and the wounds of our parents, they're not ours, but they are ours because we did choose into them when we came here. So when we can recognize that, we can come more from a place of empowerment rather than disempowerment in relation to those things. So it's really looking at that and saying, okay, where do I need to own my power? Where can I bring light into my body and into my cells? You know, where are the dense frequencies in my body? I think it would be very beneficial for all of you to do some maybe visualization work and really calling in the light into the body and moving down and picturing all of your cells and noticing what parts of your body hold the heaviest and the densest and the darkest frequencies. Because if you know that, then you can also look up the chakra or the energy center that is in that area of your body, and you can look into the meaning behind that energy center. It's also really good to be very body aware in the sense of what your emotions are, what emotions you're holding to, because we hold, trapped emotion is it's a dense frequency, which is basically most of the dense frequency in the body has to do with unprocessed emotion or trauma, which a lot of times is unprocessed emotion. But your ancestors are with you. Your ancestors really, really want this to happen for you. I feel, I just keep seeing crowds and crowds and crowds of spirit people who have lived before us really gathering this month. And so I think this is also why prayer is so important. You do have to invite in the ancestors to assist you in transmuting stuff that they passed on to you. And don't worry about inviting somebody in who you did not have a good relationship with, who you feel, maybe even you're afraid of this person. I know when I do mediumship with people and certain ancestors or family members who were passed away show up, people get very uncomfortable and they don't want to talk to them. They want to have nothing to do with them. The thing is that they cannot hurt you. So the reason that they tend to come in is for healing in the first place. And yes, it's for your healing, but it is also for their healing too. And when any one being in this dimension, the fourth dimension, the fifth dimension, any dimension, if there is any being that is not healed, that means that there is a part of us, all of us, as in the collective consciousness, that is also not healed. So we have to recognize that on the bigger scale of things, when we can move past something, when we can heal something with another person, we're able to move into a state of forgiveness, which, by the way, forgiveness is a byproduct of healing. It is not something that can be forced. It's something that happens naturally through the process of healing. When you're able to get to that point of understanding why another being does the things that they do, then it actually creates liberation and freedom for your soul and theirs. So you don't have to be afraid, but you also don't have to invite in an energy that doesn't feel good to you and that doesn't feel comfortable to you. But I would suggest recognizing where you have those issues and where you do have fear or unhealed, unprocessed trauma with somebody who is passed away. And then invite in the help that you do need, and invite in the help that you want to help you work through that and to transform the energies within your own being and your own DNA, to release those patterns and to release that trauma. So I'm going to get a card for those of you who are not going to be joining me in the extended version of this reading. I'm going to get a card of advice for you to navigate all these energies for July. Beautiful. So we have the lotus flower, and it says unfoldment. The process of birth can definitely be a painful one, but it's more painful when we have resistance to it. And so my feeling here is just allowing this process to take place. Allow the shakeup or whatever it is that you are personally experiencing in your life, just allow it to happen. Surrender to your higher self. You know, prayer is a form of surrender. Prayer is an invitation. It's an invitation for a higher power, a greater energy beyond you to really guide your life. So if there were any month so far in this year that we've been experiencing that we needed the medicine of surrender the most, I'm going to say is probably this one. If you would like to join me in the extended, the link is posted below this video. And if this is where you're leaving me, I hope that you have a most wonderful month of July. Take care.